Not your problem. Okay, that's perfectly fine. But it's going to end up being the world's problem in 20, 30, 40 years when can't nobody have no fucking kids because everyone's sterile. Because everybody was on puberty blockers. 911, I have something to report. Welcome to today's episode. You've seen the title, and so yeah, we're talking about that. So this episode was inspired by Dylan Mulvaney. If you guys don't remember who Dylan Mulvaney is, this guy. All right. So with Dylan, and here's the thing, like I will respect pronouns for transgender people, actual transgender people, not this performative bullshit. I don't know what the fuck he's out here trying to, well, we all know what the fuck he's out here trying to do, but I'm not respecting Dylan Mulvaney's pronouns. That's a nigga. That's a dude. Just because you went under the knife and got you some titties, it doesn't make you, sorry, this is performative, okay? And this episode was inspired by Dylan Mulvaney and all of his antics, okay? Now, Dylan Mulvaney, the evolution of Dylan Mulvaney's sexuality is interesting. So first, he came out as a gay dude. So he was the G in the legitimaquad, okay? So first he was gay, then he was queer, which I was told back in the day, I was told that queer meant that you're straight, but you just do some gay shit sometimes. And that's fine to do gay shit sometimes. So they just call it queer. Okay, queer. And then I heard that the Q was supposed to be for questioning, but you're not questioning for very long. Like that's just like a transitional period, right? Because after a while, like you can't stay a question mark for forever. It's like you something. You ain't questioning nothing. If you like it, just say you like it. There's a B, you could be a B, but Dylan Mulvaney has never been a B. Dylan Mulvaney went from gay to queer, then to non-binary. Oh, going back to queer, I don't know what queer means. I was told I was wrong on that definition. So he went from gay to queer to non-binary. I really in the fuck don't know what the fuck that means. Sorry, I don't know what non-binary means. People have tried to explain it to me. And like the folks that were trying to explain the cues to me, they at least sounded like they knew what the fuck they were talking about. Like they were trying to connect the dots. But can't nobody really connect the dots on the non-binary. I don't know what that means. But then he was non-binary. So then after non-binary, he went to trans. And so now that he's trans, he's a trans woman. Because I don't believe he's a trans woman. Okay? There are trans women out there. I don't think that he's one of them. So he called himself a trans woman. And now he's a lesbian. So this dude done took up almost all the damn letters. He's the L, the G, the T, and the Q. That doesn't seem fair to me. So with all of this, between all of this switching back and forth and doing this and doing that, let's discuss how this school of thought is detrimental to several groups of people. First and foremost, women, obviously. And aside from the obvious being if anyone can become a woman, then what is a woman? If anybody can be a woman, if men can be women too, then what is a woman? If girls can be women, then what's a woman? If little boys can become women, what's a woman? there's this really, really interesting documentary. I have not seen it. I have seen reviews on it. I've read reviews on it. I've read summaries on it. I've read so many articles on it. I've seen so many interviews on it, a ton of clips, people reacting to it, but not fully. I haven't seen the full documentary only because I'm not finna pay nobody no amount of money to see something. I'm not finna do that. I'm not finna do that. I'm sorry, but I'm not finna do that. So, but it seems interesting as fuck. And it's called What is a Woman? You can check it out if you want to. You can tell me if he ever find the answer, because I don't think he ever did find the answer in that documentary, but whatever. So, what is a woman, right? And a woman is an adult female human. That is a woman. Okay? A man is an adult male human. Okay? You can mix up the letters any kind of which way you want to. A human, male, adult, whatever. How the fuck ever you want to mix up the letters, fine. But all three, those words, those three words are what makes a woman. Okay? An adult, human, female, whatever. How one feels about what I just said, how you feel about it is irrelevant. Okay? If you feel like you agree with me, that's irrelevant. If you feel like you disagree with me, that's irrelevant. Now, I know a lot of people, oh, well, a woman means you have a vagina and you can give birth and blah, 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 blah. Okay. These things can be disputed because not all women can carry children. Not all women can give birth. Not all women can carry a child to term. Not all women can have a child. But only women can have children. Do you see what I'm saying here? If you really want to get down to it, you can ask, what are your chromosomes? Okay? I got XX chromosomes. So an adult female meaning XX chromosomes, okay? Human, that means I'm not a dog, I'm not a horse, I'm not a pig, I'm not a snake, I'm not a rhinoceros, I'm not a giraffe, I'm not a lion, I'm not a tiger, I'm not a bear. Oh my, I'm a human, okay? So that is what a woman is, XX chromosomes, right? And I guess if it makes it any easier, can we just start doing that? Can we just start asking people, like, what are your chromosomes? Is that a better way to say, like, instead of how do you identify? I don't care how you identify. What are your chromosomes? Going back to the birth, going back to giving birth and whatnot. If you really and truly think that an XY chromosome person could ever get pregnant, carry it to term, and give birth, you're insane. You are out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind. Doctors don't even know how the female reproductive system works all the way. They don't know exactly what makes things happen. Sometimes you just miscarry just because. We don't know why sometimes women just can't get pregnant. They have all of the right bits and pieces and they just can't get knocked up. We don't know why. We don't know why sometimes a woman could be out there just fucking, like just she out there, right? Never get pregnant. Get with a nigga that can never have kids and then they have a baby. How the fuck that happen? Right? Doctors don't even understand how the fuck our shit work fully. We don't understand. fully. It just happens sometimes. So how in the fuck do y'all think that, okay, so what does that even mean? Does that mean that like they gonna get the syringe and like implant an already fertilized egg into a womb sac in the stomach, and then they end up having a C-section? Is that really? If you like torture, just say you like torture. Pregnancy is not fun. Pregnancy is not fun. Like your hormones start to spike and you get these increased levels of dopamine and stuff. And there's like some sort of fucking chemical that gets released in your brain right after you have the baby that makes you forget about how fucking terrible the last 9 months was. And then you look at the baby and you're like, oh, it was worth it. And it always is, but it's like pregnancy's not fucking fun. So it's like, why would you want to go through all of that? Just to, okay, the act of getting pregnant and the moment of surprise, it's like, oh shit, we finna have a baby, you know. Even if you are planning for the child, it's like that moment where it's like, it fucking happened. Your sperm met my egg. They had a party. Hey, they had a party. They had a party. That's sex ed for you. You're welcome. The whole process of just getting pregnant in and of itself, I think that's what people are attracted to. And then the birthing situation. Yes, I'm well aware that a lot of women have to end up having C-sections. I've had 4 kids, all of them vaginally. All of them. I didn't have a single C-section. So I don't know what it feels like to have a C-section. I don't know what it's like to, and you know, I don't know what that's like. But I know that with my 4 vaginal births, that shit's not fucking fun. And it's scary. It's terrifying. My first one was born with the cord wrapped around his neck twice. And they couldn't get him out. I had to have an episiotomy and they had to use the forceps. So the shit's not fucking fun. It's not supposed to be fun. If it was fun, then when you get to the very end and you see that child in your hands, you're like, damn, all of this shit was worth it. And here's the thing. Fathers have, and I know like a lot of people, you know, credit mothers with, because we're the ones that's carrying the lives and whatnot. But fathers, people don't talk about fathers. Fathers have a whole other set of reactions that happen to them that we can't possibly understand. Imagine, now this is saying that the father was with you during the pregnancy, okay? Imagine having this person. You may love them, you may not love them, whatever, but you have this human being, okay, that is carrying your seed. And you have to make sure that that person is fed and taken care of by any means necessary. That has to have a whole host of reactions that I don't even know if doctors have even tried to, or scientists or what the fuck ever, have ever even tried to dig into. If there's any psychiatrists out there, please let me know in the comments. What do you think? Like, there has to be a whole set of shit that happens with menfolk when a woman is going through pregnancy. So, and Dylan Mulvaney comes out saying that he wants a bitch to knock him up. I don't understand that. I really don't fucking, because he's saying that he wants to get pregnant by his girlfriend. I don't know what that means. Does he mean girlfriend as like a trans? Ooh. Because he was gay, he started off liking niggas. So I don't understand. My head hurts. My head hurts. We gotta move on from this. We gotta move on. Being a woman, going back to it, defining what a woman is. Being a woman does not equate to dresses and makeup and high-pitched voices in the same way that being Black does not equate to single motherhood, poverty, and struggle love. In the same way that being white does not equate to bland food and bland sex and mayonnaise. And in the same way that race is not determined by feelings, neither is gender. It's just a fact. Now, y'all want to dig into the Rachel Dolezals? Let me tell you something. That whole situation was irritating as fuck because nobody really said anything about it. Everybody would just like, most people just like kind of laughed it off. And she just kind of became obscure. And then you hear about her every once in a while. But like, I don't like how we handled that situation. Because let me tell you something. When people like that start coming out and saying stupid shit like I'm transracial, then you have, I don't know, some nigga in Norway or some shit talking about he's fucking trans age or something. He's an old man and wants to identify as a much younger man. And wants his birth certificate and all of his shit changed. And it's like, because he feels, when you start doing that, that is a long, slippery slope. And we should have shut that shit down. She's still identifying as a Black woman. We should have shut that shit down. And people just still letting this bitch just run around talk about. How does that not infuriate you? So the next group of people that this Dylan Mulvaney's antics, I mean, just really in the fuck, just giving the middle finger to lesbians. Lesbians. A lesbian is an adult female human that is attracted to other adult female humans. As far as I'm aware, Dylan Mulvaney still got his bottom half. Okay? A lesbian isn't a lesbian because of, not only because of how she feels, how she feels towards women. Okay? So a woman would never be attracted to a biological male, to an XY chromosome. Okay, so a lesbian is an XX chromosome that is attracted to other XX chromosomes. They aren't attracted to XY chromosomes. So how is Dylan Mulvaney? Maybe Dylan Mulvaney. So maybe Dylan Mulvaney is a lesbian, meaning that he likes all women. So maybe he also likes trans women. Oh, I need a map. Am I really going to draw this out? I'm really going to draw this out. I need a map. Okay, here's a scrap poster paper, okay? So if Dylan Mulvaney, which is an XY chromosome, okay? If Dylan Mulvaney, which is an XY chromosome, wants to have a baby, okay, with a woman, Would he be okay? So I don't understand. If he's saying that he's a lesbian, is he meaning that he's attracted to XY chromosomes, or is he attracted to however the fuck you feel like? Because I feel like, okay, if Dylan Mulvaney was gay and then moved on, evolved to trans, okay, I would still imagine that Dylan Mulvaney would like somebody with a penis. But if you're trying to have a baby, you need an XY chromosome and an XX chromosome. So are you saying that you're attracted, that you want to have XX chromosome baby? I don't know. Is that it? I need help. Somebody help me. Put it in the comments. Help me out. I don't understand this. So please help me out. So not only that, no matter how masculine a woman presents, there's always a certain feminine female quality about a woman that would attract other women that are lesbians. So lesbians aren't attracted to all women, okay? But the one thing that they are attracted to is women. Okay? We got that? We clear? And if you're a person that's like, well, I'm attracted to this kind of woman and that kind of woman and that kind of woman and that kind of woman, isn't that pansexual? And doesn't that fall in the plus category? Everything after T should just be plus. Even queer, question, and whatever. That should just LGBT and then the plus sign. Okay? LGBT and then the plus sign. I'm old. Okay? I'm elderly. I was born in the 1900s. Okay? And I feel like this is geriatric discrimination. Okay? It's geriatric discrimination because I don't understand queer. I don't understand non-binary. I don't understand a lot of this shit. And a lot of people my age and older don't understand this shit. So I feel as though it's put there to confuse the older people. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. They're just trying to confuse us. So I feel like in order to include geriatrics, okay, to get rid of this geriatric discrimination, I feel as though everything after a T, because we understand the L, we understand the G, we understand the B, we understand the T now. We get that now. Everything after that, plus. Plus. If I ever feel the need to ask somebody about their sexuality, which I never would, I don't care what you do with your private parts. I really in the fuck don't. But if I ever were to get a bug up my butt and ask somebody what their sexual orientation is, I would just, hey, I don't even know how I would go about asking a question like that because it's really in the fuck nobody's business, but whatever. So I would be like, if they were to say, hey, I'm a plus sign, then that would let my geriatric ass know this is too complicated for you to understand in less than 3 seconds. This is too much. It's too much. I have things to do. Baby, I have things to do. Okay, I have things to do. So I'm not finna add, no, we're not adding shit. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And if the person said, oh, okay, I'm a plus sign, and it's a younger person that has the time to try and understand all of that, then y'all can go ahead and have that conversation. But as for me and my old ass, I'm not trying to figure that shit out. I have bills to pay. So sorry. Moving on. Lastly, I want to talk about how Dylan Mulvaney's antics are incredibly detrimental to trans women, actual trans women. Now, I'm able to empathize with the plight of trans women in that they are not a monolith, okay? Just like Black women, we are not a monolith. All right. So we're not a monolith. So I can understand that there's lots and lots and lots of different types of trans women. But the one thing that they have in common is that they are diagnosed. No, the one thing that truly trans women, trans men, trans people have in common. I'm talking about trans because no, you don't hear about trans men doing this shit. You really don't. You don't hear about trans men doing this shit, and you don't hear about trans people of color doing this shit. A very particular group of people, trans people, that do this. The common goals of all minority groups are to, one, feel safe, okay? Feel safe, be able to walk around and not have to worry about getting murdered for no fucking reason. And I say for no fucking reason. I don't mean you done trick somebody. I'm not saying that you deserve it, but I'm saying don't put yourself into certain situations. You want to feel safe and you want to feel respected. Okay? Two things. All minority groups just have these two things in common, if nothing else. You want to feel safe and you want to feel respected. I get that. I totally understand that. So when people from these communities disrupt those particular goals, Dylan Mulvaney is not making y'all feel safe. I promise you, Dylan Mulvaney is not making y'all feel safe. The real ones, Dylan Mulvaney is not making y'all feel safe. I know that. And Dylan Mulvaney is not making you feel respected either. I know that too. I got eyes enough to see that. People that are actually suffering from body dysmorphia, because that is what this is. It's a mental illness. And just because it's a mental illness doesn't mean that it's like, it's okay to just be like, oh, let's just brush this off. And for the severe type, the type that has gone through extensive therapy, the type that has gone through, all of the proper channels, okay, before going under the knife, because that's like the final form. Like, you don't have to do it completely or anything like that. Perfect example, because I was getting into this. I feel like it's the responsibility of the people in this community to speak out about it. And I don't just mean like trans people in general. I mean the people that come from the community, that these white trans women, these white trans Karens, okay? And that's what we're going to call them. They're the white trans Karens. These white trans Karens are coming from. And one person that I know of, very like, I was introduced to who this was on the Flagrant podcast. Blair White. Blair White is a trans woman, and she speaks out, like she very vocal on how silly all of this shit is. Okay, she's very vocal about it. I love it. I love it. I love it, because she calls out the bullshit. I don't agree with her on everything, on every single issue. Here's the thing. You don't have to agree with somebody on every single thing. What she says about the trans community, and when they act a fucking fool, it's some real ass shit. But she's like the onlyest one. She's not the onlyest one, but she's the only big major one. You see more Dylan Mulvaneys than Blair Whites. And that's where the problem is. We need more Blair Whites. She also talks about body dysmorphia. And she also talks about how this is seriously gonna fuck up y'all's kids. And that's where I want to go in with this, because I really feel like when you have a major platform and you choose to do silly shit like Dylan Mulvaney, when you choose to do that, instead of helping to make your community feel safe and respected. Now let's talk about how y'all gonna fuck up y'all kids. Cause you are. You're gonna fuck them up. Y'all gonna fuck them up if you haven't already. The kids is fucked up. The kids are not okay. The kids are not okay. Puberty blockers, that's like the main major hot topic, right? Everybody wants puberty blockers and shit. How is this not under investigation with child welfare? How is this not under investigation right now? I don't get it. These parents that are bragging about how they're putting their kids on puberty blockers and stuff, how are they not in jail? That's what I want to know. What are you guys doing with the taxpayer money? Because it's not your job. This is your job to go after people that harm children, and you're not doing it. So what is it? I feel like it goes a lot deeper because, and I made a video about the book. It really wasn't about, it wasn't even supposed to be about the book 1984, but I talk a lot about 1984 in this video. I'll link it somewhere. But in the book, they completely rewrite history. Okay? And their slogan is war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. That is their slogan. When you see real life shit happening, when you see real life Orwellian shit happening, you get rightfully paranoid. And I know there's a lot of people that believe in some real silly ass shit, you know? But it's like, when you see it happening, when you see it unfolding in front of your eyes, it's just kind of like, are we really just going to ignore this? Like, real shit, are we really just going to ignore this? Are we really just going to just let them put kids on fucking puberty blockers? I get it. Not your kid, not your problem. Okay, that's perfectly fine. But it's going to end up being the world's problem in 20, 30, 40 years when can't nobody have no fucking kids. Because everyone's sterile. Because everybody was on puberty blockers at the age of 7. Where's DCS? 911, I have something to report. Bottom line, trans women are just that. They are trans women. There is nothing about me that a person, a male, an XY chromosome person could identify with other than just having tits and hips. You have a mental illness that should be controlled. There's this other person, I'm not going to put them out there because they look very young and it's weird, but I'm not finna put that out there. But there's this person that I came across on TikTok, and this person got XY chromosomes, look just like a girl. Look just like a girl. A whole girl. A whole girl. Right? No surgeries. Just some, hormones and whatnot. They were on puberty blockers, but they look just like a girl. Even in the childhood pictures, just like a girl. A whole little girl. If a 16-year-old cannot sign up for the Army because they don't have legal consent, how is this possible? I really don't understand it. I could never empathize with an individual trans woman because I don't have body dysmorphia. So I can't put myself in that position. I don't know what that feels like, in the same way that a trans woman does not know what it feels like to be an XX chromosome without body dysmorphia. Or even, I've heard people say, well, I identify as a woman, as a barren woman. Because it's like some people, so with, as far as like the argument, well, I can't have kids, so because I'm a trans woman, so I can identify as someone, that a barren woman. You can't even identify as a barren woman. There's no way. You have no idea what it feels like to be an XX chromosome, grow up your entire life knowing that way, get married, settle down, start to try to have a family, and then whoopsie doodle, you can't have any kids. You don't know what the fuck that feels like. And that's sick to say that you do. It's fucked up to say that you would know what that would feel like. So these folks on social media, they may or may not know what they're doing. They may or may not know that they're a menace to society, okay? They may or may not be aware of it, but it's up to you to go and seek therapy if you identify with them in any way, shape, or form. It's up to you. If you are the parent, monitor your kid's cell phone, monitor their internet usage. Oh, well, there's apps that, can cover up, and okay, well, then stay up on that shit. The fuck? Stay up on your shit. Like, hopefully we can all agree that transgenderism is a mental illness and not a lifestyle choice. You can't just switch it on and off, okay? Like an actual person that is suffering from this. You can't just turn it on and off, just like I can't turn off my XX chromosomes. But if you do disagree, then it's you that's the problem. Happy Pride!